Good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to the 26th day of our online Ignatian Retreat. Let your light shine. In each scene of apparition after the resurrection, we find Jesus consoling all. The risen Lord is at work in encouraging us, giving us more faith, hope, and charity, and inspiring true peace and joy, ridding us of feelings of loneliness, discouragement, so that we can give ourselves entirely to Him and to His mission. One assurance that He kept giving during His apparitions is that do not be afraid. Dear friends, Jesus is telling us, do not be afraid. And the grace we ask during this prayer is to experience the deep presence of Jesus. As we are in the fourth week of the retreat, earnest prayer and deepest silence are required for the meditations of this week. It is difficult to stay with someone who is joyful just like that. That requires a deeper level of intimacy. And it is only when we have reached a certain level of communion with the other, we are able to make the joys of other our own. We obtain this grace of deeper intimacy by contemplating the various scenes of the apparitions of the risen Lord. While the divinity of Christ seemed hidden during the Passion, now the divinity manifests itself through its true and most holy effects. The divinity is manifested in the effects it has on the disciples and on me. The divinity manifests itself in transforming sorrow into joy, despondency into courage, doubt into faith. And each apparition happens at a time when a person is going through struggles and difficulties specific to him or her. Dear friends, what happens in his apparition? In each apparition, we find the initiative comes from Jesus. Jesus takes the initiative. He searches them out, and their vocation is now renewed and confirmed. He seeks the bond again, reveals himself to them. Initially, they do not recognize him, but he opens their eyes of faith. Then they recognize him. He connects with us once again. The Easter experience happens when the need is more. Whenever people need whenever there is a need, Jesus appears. Jesus is present with them in a new way. Formerly, they knew where to look for him. But now he appears to them in an unexpected place. He comes when they least expect, and he goes away. He makes himself present when they are in need. The examples we see in the Gospel, the disciples walking towards Emmaus, the disciples in the upper room, and the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, etc. and etc. We too experience him in similar circumstances. And Jesus' appearance are not accompanied by spectacular happenings. He comes quietly. Jesus used to give warning to the Jews that they should not look for spectacular signs of the coming of the kingdom of God. And all apparitions end with mission. And dear friends, for today's meditation, we take the gospel passage, John chapter 21, verses 1 to 23. That is, Jesus appears to disciples on the shores of Tiberias. In this gospel, we see that the disciples of Jesus experiencing the third post-resurrection appearance. In the gospel, we read that the disciples, Simon Peter, Thomas, Nathanael, the sons of Zebedee, and two other disciples were together. I am going out to fish, Simon Peter told them. Peter, always a man who liked practical action, comes up with a solution, a very obvious solution: back to work, back to the practice and the trade he and the others know so well, that of fishing. And they said, "We will go with you." So they went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Concerning this incident that occurred prior to the Pentecost, many may blame Peter and the apostles for turning back to their old ways, for fishing once more on Lake Galilee. It is entirely understandable that these disciples wanted to fill their time doing something positive. They may have to do so for financial reasons too. And doing together what they had done for years must have brought some comfort and order to them during these difficult and struggles. And we read that they caught nothing. These fishermen were real professionals. They knew what they were doing when it came to fish. That was why they went out at night. Experience has taught them that this was the most productive time. But on the occasion they fished and got nothing. When morning came, their nets were as empty as when they had begun. We can imagine their feelings: tired, frustrated, baffled, hungry. And this is the time when the risen Lord is appearing to them. Understanding their needs, he takes the initiative to come to them. He asked them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" He said to them, "Cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So exasperated were the disciples, so completely tired, that they are ready to act on the advice of a complete stranger. Even though this must have been a serious blow to their pride. Who was this clever fellow on the shore who asked the painful question, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" Never mind, whoever may be, from his point, he might be able to see something they couldn't. They cast their net into the right, and this time they really do catch something. What we also experience at times like this is the futility of work. A sense of time, money, and energy have been wasted. Jesus is interested in our work and our lives and knows what we need. But what we see is different when Peter is encouraged to try again with the interventions of Jesus. He is overcome with surprise. And Jesus cares for them and invites them, come and have breakfast and bring some of what you have got. We are assured that God is in our midst, involved in our struggles, deliberately tried to leave spaces in our schedules, allow for interruptions of God. There may be life surprises waiting for us. Trusting that Jesus knows what we need, allow Him to transform and lighten our baggages and accept His care and attention. During our prayer today, by imagining yourself there with the disciples, the aim would be to increase your awareness of His presence in and around us and become more close to Him. To share yourself with Him, to present with Him as He is truly present with you. Dear friends, read the passage a couple of times, then the story and its details become familiar to you. May the good God be with us all and all the time, especially during our struggles with His presence. Amen.